Next coach to the podium is one of the most successful coaches, not only in the Big Ten but in the country, is Matt Painter. He's the head basketball coach at Purdue University. He's been a great supporter of the Coaches versus Cancer event. He has reached the Sweet 16 for the fourth time in the last 5 years, has another great team this year, and I'm so grateful that Coach Painter is in the Big Ten Conference, and looking forward to seeing him coach and his team play during this exciting upcoming season. So welcome to the stage, head basketball coach at Purdue University, Matt Painter.
Like everybody else, we had a fabulous summer, and we're excited for the season. So I know you guys couldn't write your articles without opening a statement. Does anybody ever have a bad summer? Like, someone has to have a bad summer, right? Somebody has to have some things not go their way. So I've always wanted to do that, come up here and say, we really had a really bad summer, and things just haven't been clicking, but we think we're going to be really good this year. So. But no, you guys hear the same kind of opening speeches and opening remarks from a lot of different people. But it was a tough year for us last year because we thought we had a team that could do more damage than it did. And you know, as a coach, you know, you take sole responsibility, you know, for that. And you know, just trying as a coach to be better for our program, to be better for our team. I thought we should have won our league. I thought we should have won our tournament. I thought we should have gotten to a Final Four, and we didn't. Any of those three things. And our talent was just a little bit above our production. I think that's the key for a coach, to be able to get his team more productive than his talent. And I think we've had a lot of success with that. I think Coach Edey was marvelous at that with his team and the program at Purdue for 25 years. And we've really tried to take that blueprint. And last year, I just didn't feel like, even though we won 29 games and went to a Sweet 16, we didn't quite get to that point. And I think that, from a coaching standpoint, I got to be better for us, be better for our guys, and hopefully we can do that this year. We lost some really talented guys, but I like where we are. I like our pieces, and I think our staff has done a great job in evaluating and getting good players for Purdue. I think we have one of the best front lines in the country. I really like our guard play. I don't like our experience at the guard positions, but it's also great opportunities for young players. So how well we'll be together is really going to be key on everybody being on the same page, everybody growing, and being ready to play right away. But we have some good young guards. We have a fifth-year transfer in David Jenkins, which I think is really going to help us. We have some returners, Ethan Morton, Brandon Newman, Mason Gillis, obviously Zach Edey, Caleb First. We have two red shirts, and Trey Kaufman and Brian Waddell, that I think will both have fabulous careers at Purdue. And we have a couple freshman guards that are going to play right away and have really played well here early in the season, Fletcher Lawyer and Braden Smith. So I think I've covered about everybody. If I forgot a couple guys there. We have a 7'2" freshman named Will Bird from Sweden that I really, really like his upside. I know you guys are shocked we signed another 7-footer. So, but no, we'll open this up for any questions and we can go from there.
On your right side in the back, Coach.
Byron Metcalf, ESPN, Coach Lee. There's a stand-up routine with you and Katie here that you all should get working on. But Zach Edey, playing through him, how does that change, how you operate going into the season?
Yeah, well, Zach had great per 40 numbers last year. A lot of people have to scheme towards him because he's skilled and so big, but he averaged 31 and a half and 16 rebounds per 40 numbers, pretty impressive. So the fact that he only played 19 minutes, we simply couldn't play those two guys together, even though we tried in the summer to piece it together. So we had two different looks. I think we'll be able to do the same thing, but he obviously will play more minutes than he did last year. And, he kind of determines that. I always allow, organically things to evolve instead of trying to win the press conference. When you come here, just like, allow your eyes, to tell you what's going on and what we're doing. But I like our other guys on our front line. Caleb First, Trey Kaufman, Mason Gillis are all conference level players. I don't think they're all going to be all conference in the same year, but they're all conference level players. So, just excited about it. Excited about what Zach can do. He can move for a guy his size. He can rebound out of his area, which is huge for a guy his size. He plays in ball screen defense a lot better than people give him credit for. I think he just stereotypically, because he's so big, people just automatically say, get him in a ball screen. But he's pretty active, and he's a good athlete. Obviously, he played hockey and played baseball, growing up. So I'm excited. I think he's one of the best players in the country.
Coach, left side, fourth row.
Matt, Mike DeCourcy from the Sporting News. You mentioned a lot of different guys who can play guard, but the one question that when people look at your team is, how do you handle point guard? You lost 3 guys who played that position for you last year. You mentioned David. Is he your answer, or is there someone beyond that?
Yeah, it's a great question. We might have to do it through committee. Our only quintessential point guard is a kid named Braden Smith, who's a fabulous player. How he wasn't ranked in the top 7,500 in the country. You guys will have the same question after the first month of the season, because he's a really good player, can really pass, very competitive. But from David Jenkins to Braden to Ethan Morton to Fletcher Lawyer, I think when Braden is not in the game, it can be by committee, because Ethan Morton does a lot of good point guard things. David Jenkins can guard the basketball, can really score, but he's not been that true point guard there. And then Fletcher Lawyer is a guy that can handle the ball and help out when he's playing the 2. So that's your question, that's our question. Really, the youth is more of our question than anything in that backcourt. We have a lot of really good players, but they haven't played together, and we have some true freshmen that are going to play right away. The one guy I forgot, who's from Minnesota, is Cam Heidi, who missed last year, only played 3 games last year, and then he missed this summer. So Caleb First, Braden Smith, Cam Heidi, and one more, I'm not losing it right there. They all missed our summer. So I wasn't totally lying when I said that we didn't have a great summer. So, but no, Cam is very athletic and can really shoot the basketball, and we're excited about him. But he's had a little bit of that injury bug like the rest of our guys.
Coach, over here, Abby Schnabel, Wisconsin State Journal. The Big Ten has the Big Ten has always been known for its centers, and you have a very dominant one in Zach Edey. How important is it for teams this season to have a dominant big man in the Big Ten, and how have you seen the league move towards more positionless basketball?
Yeah. Well, obviously with positionless basketball, and you have guys of that size, that kind of knocks that theory off a little bit. But the people that do play that way against size cause us problems. Just like we're causing them problems at one end, they're causing us problems at the other end in terms of matchups and how you play. But schematically, you just go towards your best players, and so I think that's something I always talk about in recruiting. Like, this is how I see you if you're one of our top 2 or 3 scorers. I think that's why you see a lot of guys transfer, because that doesn't get put out as a caveat. You say, well, this is how you said I was going to play, and then you don't run plays for your 8th man. You just don't. And so when you look at it, like, how can you get the basketball to the rim? In positionless basketball, you're driving that basketball a lot more. When you're playing post-up basketball, you're throwing that ball in there, and then they have to react. But at the end of the day, the ball needs to live in the paint, no matter how you play. The ball has to get there. And whether you're driving it, whether you're posting it, whether you're getting it off the glass, whether you're playing in transition off your defense, that is so important for it. But the thing about our bigs in our league, they're quality. Like, a lot of times people say, well, you can't play these 2 guys together. It just depends. It depends on their functionality. And that's really what it gets down to. Taking your best players, especially of size, and now who plays well with them, that's going to ultimately bring them more value.
Coach, last row on your left side.
Ted LaRue, Big Ten. Ted, you guys maybe more than any team experienced the ups and downs of Big Ten play last year. You mentioned a lot of the new guys, especially on the perimeter. How do you get them prepared as you work through the non-conference? How do you get them prepared for the grind that it is week in and week out, night in and night out for Big Ten play?
Yeah, just, the mental toughness. Mental toughness is doing simple things consistently. And a lot of times the redundancy of the game of basketball kind of bores people, but like you're gonna have pillars in terms of taking care of the basketball, rebounding the basketball, and then having a high competitive spirit. So like who you are when the wheels are starting to fall off is really who you are. And so it's so important to be able to kind of have that false adversity through practices and through scrimmages, your close scrimmage, your exhibition, things of that nature, just to see how guys are going to react. And if you're not quite ready for it, someone's going to probably play instead of you. So as a coach, the best motivator is get enough good players to where if somebody's not ready or somebody doesn't want to do what you're asking them to do, then you can just move to the next guy. That's the best motivator and gets it going. But our guys that come and attend Purdue and play for us, they know we don't try to trick them in recruiting. We try to just paint a clear picture of this is how it is. We don't become you become us, and kind of go from there. Like we're not having, a get together and a powwow every time you don't get the minutes that you want. Go out there and produce. Go out there and practice every day. Put in extra time. Keep your nose clean. Be on time. Like all the things that translate to winning. Like do those things. And complaining doesn't go over too much. With us.
Final question, standing in the back left.
Coach, you've been around Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Speed Radio. You've been around this league as long as anyone. It always has good teams, but this year, whether it's through returning players or transfers, the top half seems to be as solid as it has been in a long time. When Indiana's picked it in favor, is it Illinois, is it Purdue? The top half of this league seems to be really strong. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's different because you have some people that are being picked in the top half, and 70 to 80% of the guys didn't play for them last year. Normally, when that's the case, they don't get picked in the top half. But these guys have all been proved, not all of them, but you got a good chunk of some of these guys that have had really good careers so far. So it's easier to gauge. It's easier to say, hey, like this guy averaged 16 points in another high major conference. He's going to be successful here. So, having that experience of success together is still important. So like a lot of times you see it in the NBA all the time. They take 3 or 4 guys that are all fabulous individual players and they just don't work together, or they do work together. And then you go back to the drawing board and say like, well, why did this work and why did this not work? That you're constantly dealing with that as a coach. And now it's come to college basketball, with the transfer portal and name, image, and likeness, and guys kind of searching things out. It's going to be interesting what we think in 3, 4, 5 years about that, and how, because the whole thing, it's hard to have chemistry within a team. So like that starts when you hear the overused word of culture. Like how can you have culture just right away? Like I always say things don't work with a speech. It takes time to grow. It takes time to develop. It takes time to come together. But we've all seen some quick fixes work. They don't always work, but we've all seen that work. So, for us, we know each game that we play in our league is going to be difficult. Some of the unfamiliarity when you lose a lot of people from your league and then you gain a lot of really talented guys, I think gets really worked out non-conference. And then it ramps up. For us, it's a little different because we play those 2 conference games in December, so you get that taste of it. And I really don't have a great answer, for you, because I think the answer is still out there. Like it'll be interesting to see, who's going to be there in the last week and a half of our league, because it's a bear, man. You can have a really good team, it doesn't mean you're going to be a really good road team. But the really good road team is normally the one that wins it.
Coach Painter, thank you so much for your time.
All right, thanks, guys.